Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. The Kenya Kwanza regime wants to go down with all of us. When you think you've had enough, you wake up to even a more startling revelations and shocking details of our country that makes all Kenyans live in fear. Recently, there were reports in the media that some edible oil had been imported into the country by the Kenya National Trading Corporation. And this edible oil had been flagged as not fit for human consumption. And Kenyans were living in fear because you never know. You might go to the shops to buy some oil and then you find out that whatever you are consuming is one that will kill you in the next few years. We were waiting to see a report from the Kenya Bureau of Standards. And then today, we are waking up to shocking revelation that they have actually given the green light that that oil is actually now fit for human consumption. In their website, I just want to read just but a few. This is what the Kenya Bureau of Statistics say, that this is Nairobi 6th December 2023, that the Kenya Bureau of Standards has taken note of the recent media reports regarding the alleged importation of unfit edible oil. We would like to assure the public that KEBS is committed to ensuring the safety and quality of all locally manufactured and imported products into the country. Then they go there to explain that the Kenya Bureau of Standards utilizes pre-export verification of conformity to assess the quality of products imported into Kenya. Pre-export verification of conformity is a commonly assessment program implemented at the exporting country to guarantee that imported products adhere to the applicable Kenyan technical regulations, mandatory standards, or approved verification. Pre-export verification conformity ensures that the imported products meet the required standards before entering the Kenyan market, safeguarding consumer safety and promoting fair trade practices. KEBS samples and re-inspects products accompanied by certificates of conformity. As regards the edible oil, KEBS sampled, re-inspected and tested the edible oils imported by Kenya National Trading Corporation. From the tests done, the edible oil complied with all the health and safety parameters of the applicable Kenyan standards. However, the sampled edible oil did not meet the vitamin A levels specified in the Kenyan standards. This is not a health and safety parameter. KEBS communicated the results to Kenya National Trading Corporation. That is it. That is what this body is telling us, that we should now trust them. We should now trust that this edible oil is fit for human consumption. And I want us to look at what Ahmed Nasir is saying about KEBS, because Ahmed Nasir is saying that there is a lot of corruption within this body that you never know. You don't even trust what they are saying. Let us very quickly go to what Ahmed Nasir was saying about this. He was saying very fast that what I like about the Kenya Bureau of Standards is that at the right bribe, it delivers whatever results the bribe giver wants. It all depends on how much bribe one gives as the instructions bribe. A few years ago, they declared fertilizer from the Kingdom of Morocco to contain mercury on the instructions of a very powerful dealer in fertilizer in the Uhuru administration. After hell was raised and the international regulatory authority called in to play, a meeting was called in State House and the Moroccan fertilizer was given a clean bill of health. Now edible oil imported from Malaysia and Indonesia, who have better regulatory authorities technically and ethically, is declared unfit, and we all know who gave the instructions and how much it costed them. Remember, this was done after the High Court allowed and discharged an order stopping the importation of edible oil. Apparently, you can't defeat cartels in Kenya because government employees deliver for whoever pays them the biggest bribe. Sad that Kenya is a broken country. I understand that Ahmed Nasir is part of this government's apologist. So even if this government does something that is wrong, they will ensure that they insert Uhuru's name. But whatever he's communicating there is very simple. That KEBS can never be trusted. They will always give instructions according to the amount of bribe and what they've been told. And he's giving an example there. You all remember that there was a time we were told that some fertilizer contained mercury and therefore the fertilizer was unfit for human consumption. Before we knew what was happening, we were told that the fertilizer, it was given a clean bill of health, the green light to go ahead and be sold and consumed in Kenya. So the same thing is happening here. And I want to say that we are using what experts think and what we think is happening in Kenya, because we've seen how the Kenya Kwanza team is governing this country. This is not the first opaque kind of deal that we are getting. Whether it is oil deal, fertilizer deal, whatever it is. Number one, you will realize that money is lost. That is a fact. And when the money is lost, it is lost from the public checker. You and I will lose money. But this money that we claim is lost will be getting into some few individuals' pockets, because this is our time to eat, not you and I. The I or our means those who are in power. We have been told before that Murkomen took bribes from the Chinese contractors. And that was said by not Azimio senator, but the Nandi senator, who is a very close ally of William Samoei Ruto. So three things could be happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, there might have been a competitor who gave the KEBS some bribe to declare this oil not fit for human consumption because of unfair, trade deals. When this happens, they will always punish the other. So the other will always come in with even more amount of bribe so that they can be declared fit for human consumption. And that is one thing that will always stagnate the growth of our economy. We should not allow things like corruption to get into one of the most sensitive departments in our country that deals with our lives. The other thing that must have happened, maybe this oil is not fit for human consumption, just the way it was reported. And they delayed the process so that the owners can bribe KEBS. And this money will go into individuals, maybe the ministers, those who are supposed to inspect them, and it will to silence the truth. So after they have received this money in terms of billions, because these days corruption is not to the tune of millions. That was maybe Kibaki era. In the Uhuru regime and now, when it started with Kimwarer and Imaror, it was now to the tune of billions. In fact, when you tell Kenyans that you have lost millions of shillings, they will tell you it won't feel like something. The modern day corruption in Kenya is in the tune of billions. So the owners of this oil might have bribed KEBS and some government individuals to declare it unfit for human consumption. Number three, maybe the oil is just okay, but for you to enter into the Kenyan market, you have to part with some amount of money. And so they were being threatened, they were being scared kidogo, so that they do something. You remember, toa kitu kidogo. Because this was oil that was in tunes of billions of shillings. And so there were two conditions. Either they import, or they take it back to where they had taken the oil, or the government will destroy this oil at the importer's cost. You can imagine that. So maybe it was just okay, and the government decides, let us scare them kidogo, and they are paid that money. But my problem is, where did the media get this kind of information? That is why I have a feeling, a strong belief that this oil might have been not fit for human consumption, because we are dealing with a government that does not care about us. You know, in the past few months, I'm beginning to accept the narrative that the West and Europe have decided that the population of Kenya, of Africans, must go down. Because if our government has decided to sell our seed company, and that means that they want to infiltrate it with GMO, because obviously the company that is interested in buying our seed company comes from the US. Joe Biden and the rich men in US want to control our markets, the food industry, the milk industry. And you know very well that there have been complaints that some of these foods are not really good. They will curtail the life expectancy in Africa, and Kenya is the entry point. Now, when you tell me that we have such headlines like some edible oil which we are not sure they are fit for human consumption, they are not fit, maybe these are the things that are cancerous. Maybe this is why in the next few years, you realize the amount of the number of cancer patients are increasing in the country, because you never know. And I think William Ruto is perpetuating, knowingly or subconsciously, the demands of the West that will soon extinct the African population. And Kenya will be heading that list. The other thing that is coming out very clearly is the trust level between the public and the institutions, the independent institutions of the government. Who do we believe now? At some point, the edible oil is not fit. It's hazardous to human. And the next minute you come to us, it is fit. Who do we trust? You see, now I've realized that Kenyans are living at the mercies of God. You do not know who to trust. And this regime does not care. The officials in the Kenya Kwanza government does not care. As long as money is getting into their pockets, that is it. Very selfish. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether to say we have to be careful. How do you? Because we don't have the standards. We don't have the capacity. You as a consumer, you cannot verify that this is good for human consumption. We've seen even the liquor, the pombe, inauzwa pombe haramu, and they have the seals of KEBS. Unapata imewekwa Kenya Bureau of Statistics, and when you consume it, you think you're consuming something that is fit for you. It is not. If there is something that will go down with us, is corruption, is the uncaring manner in which this government is dealing with the citizens. It's the fact that they will always open their hands for any money that comes in at the expense of the lives of our citizens. It is sad, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know who to trust. Who do you trust? Your guess is as good as mine.